What are we talking about today? We're talking about the next building block. As you establish yourself, as you establish your leadership style. Now this building block is interesting because for me, it was the building block that took me to the next step as a leader. I was very fortunate in life. I was always the youngest to do things. When I was coaching, I coached a long time ago, 25, 26 years ago. I coached down in the States on the university and high school level, and I was the youngest coach to ever do blank and blank and blank. Youngest coach. Then when I went into business, I was the youngest executive in my position in the whole industry. Youngest. And so often in my life, I was the youngest to do something or the first to do something. I was blessed to be the first or to launch first this and first that. And that was a great blessing. But it also was a significant challenge because what that meant was that I was never smart enough. I was never smart enough, talented enough, prepared enough, educated enough. And I should have never been in any of those positions. I should have never done any of those things. In other words, I certainly wasn't prepared for any one of those positions or any one of those opportunities that I found myself in. And so how did you make it? Well, yeah, how did I? Crazy. Well, that's what we're going to talk about today. How did I make it? In one of these opportunities, I had been placed in a leadership role. After coaching, I had gone into the hospitality industry. I helped run a big hotel casino down in the States, in Nevada. And as I was elevating the ladder of leadership, as I was moving up, all of a sudden I found myself responsible for 750 people. And I was like 26 and a half or something like that. I didn't have a clue. And most of the people that reported to me had been in the business longer than I had been alive. In the business longer than I had been on the planet. That's not easy. Because obviously they thought they should have the job. They thought I was too young. They thought I was too dumb. That I thought I was not enough education, on and on and on and on and on. But here I was, in charge. And I remember routinely going home knowing that I was beyond my capacity, knowing that I had nothing to give or offer, that I was stuck. I mean, there was times where I actually cried because I was so overwhelmed by everything that was expected of me and everything I was responsible to do. And I knew that like 750 people's lives were in my hands. You know, it's kind of like, are you people crazy? Why'd you put me in charge? But I've never been a quitter, never been a guy that gives up. And because of my athletic background, I used to always like quotes, like pep talks, like the poster. You know, you see a poster and then there's a quote. I like those. And so in one of those moments of despair, I started looking around for quotes. A quote that would pick me up that day, a quote that would lift me up and make me think I could do it. And I came across this quote. It said, "Give me a place to stand and I will move the world." Give me a place to stand and I will move the world. I was like, yeah, that's awesome. It was by a guy named Archimedes. Archimedes. He used this quote. You see him there on the screen. So this Archimedes, who was he? Archimedes was a mathematician. He was a philosopher. He was an inventor. He was a Greek guy from way long ago. Archimedes was famous. He was famous for first discovering and utilizing the fulcrum and lever. What's a fulcrum and lever? We see, I think, a picture there. That's where you got a stick and you got a rock or you got whatever it's called, and you bend it, right? You bend it, right? You bend that thing. Put the rock down, put the stick or the piece of steel or whatever, and you use it underneath something really, really heavy, and you lift it up. You lift the heavy thing up. And the fulcrum and lever allows you to lift more weight than you can lift on your own. Give me a place to stand and I will move the world. Wasn't about Archimedes' incredible potential or incredible talent. It was about this fulcrum and lever, this tool. So this Archimedes, this old man with that thing on the ground, a rock, a stone, a piece of wood, and a stick, he could lift like 500 pounds. He could lift 1,000 pounds, even though he was an old man. Archimedes also invented the compound pulley. The compound pulley. And maybe you've seen or used a compound pulley. Some of you that your family still has a farm, you've used a compound pulley. Or some of you that ever left a car engine, seen your dad or somebody lift a car engine, compound pulley. You know what he did one day, this Archimedes, this old man? He pulled a boat into shore, utilizing his compound pulley. The day before, it took 10 men to pull that boat into shore. Dude, Ian, you're losing me. What are you talking about? So I'm sitting there reading this quote. This, give me a place to stand and I will move the world. And initially, I thought what he was talking about was the human capacity. That a human being can do anything. You can do anything, man. Come on. But then as I read further, as I read deeper, what I came to the realization of was that Archimedes wasn't talking about me and my potential. Archimedes was saying this, hey, if you feel overwhelmed, if you feel like you can't do it, if you feel like you can't achieve it, just know this, give me a place to stand with my fulcrum and my lever, and I can do just about anything. I can move just about anything. Ian, dude, I still don't get it. What Archimedes was saying was that if you want to be successful, if you want to do more than you're capable of, then you have to have something that's a force multiplier. Write that down. A force multiplier. A force multiplier. Yeah, what that means is something that I can utilize that takes what I have and makes more of it. Takes what little strength I have and makes more of it. That's the fulcrum and lever. Takes whatever power I have and makes more of it. That's the compound pulley. So the challenge that all of us face in life, not enough time, energy, or effort at our disposal to get done everything we want to get done, is solved by a simple word: systems. Now, that's not the word that Archimedes used, but that's the word I'm going to use and that we're going to use for the next 3 weeks. You see, systems is the solution. You feel overwhelmed with class, with life, with sports, with music, not enough time? Well, then you need a good system to maximize the use of your time. You feel overwhelmed because you don't know how to get other people in your group to move and move into action? You feel overwhelmed because you don't know how to get other people to do things? So then you just need a good system for motivation. You feel uncomfortable getting up in front of people and talking? You're not sure how to effectively communicate? Then you just need a good system for communication. So in those indefinable split seconds, in those indefinable moments of time, it dawned on me, Archimedes was talking to me. And he was saying, hey kid, you feel overwhelmed. You feel like you can't do anything. You feel like you don't have what it takes. He said, don't be a fool. You have what it takes. You just need a better system. And that began my journey in systems thinking. You see, today's effective leader understands that systems thinking is a key. They think big picture, holistic, proactive systems. Big picture, holistic, proactive systems. Because they know there's not enough time to get done everything they want to get done. There's not enough energy. There's not enough effort available to them. So they realize they need force multipliers. They need something, a tool that they can use to make more out of what they got. I know, you still don't get me, but just follow me for the next few minutes and it'll start becoming clearer. Peter Senge said, business and human endeavors are systems. We tend to focus on snapshots or isolated parts of specific things, little slivers, if you will, and wonder why our deepest problems are never solved. He said, we don't look at the big picture. We just take little pieces. We don't understand that everything is connected. Ian, seriously, dude, I still don't get it. Well, look, a system, simply put, is an organized collection of parts that are highly integrated to accomplish a specific goal. As I started to research, what I found, and what I think you'll find, is that the whole world is a system. I mean, look at the solar system. Doesn't it amaze you that a big ball of fire way up in the sky, far, millions of kilometers away, that if it moved 1 centimeter this way or 1 centimeter that way, it would completely change what we know here on Earth? It's not connected, and yet it is connected. The solar system works. We don't have to adjust it. We don't have to change it. It just works. The heat, the light, all of that, a system. Doesn't it amaze you that there's that thing, excuse me, up in the sky at night, and somehow its gravitational pull makes the oceans go to and fro, and the tide go in and out, and creates a cycle of life? Isn't that crazy? Is there anybody running that? Who runs that, Jeff? Is there like the ocean guy? Hey, the ocean's not, somebody run the ocean. No, it's a system. But there's other kind of systems at play as well, young person. There's biological systems, like your body. Your body is a biological system. Like, you don't have to think right now about your heart beating. You don't have to be like this. Hey, heart, you gotta keep beating now. Don't stop on me. Just keep beating. Your heart will beat 1 billion times in your lifetime. It's a system. And for the most part, if you run it a little bit, if you feed it right, if you manage it well, it'll last a long time, like 90 years or more. Remember when you were a kid and your buddy would be jogging next to you and you'd be on your bike? You could just pedal and go faster than he could ever go. That's a force multiplier. So the human being interfaces with the mechanical item and allows the human being to do more than it could ever do on its own. I could beat any kid on my block in a race when they were running and I was on my bike. The 21st century will be ruled by systems thinkers, because they are the people that can take what talent they have, what ability they have, what time they have, what energy they have, what effort they have, and then can take and build tools or systems to get more out of it. Force multiply. Now, young person, let me tell you, most adults don't get this, Jeff. Most adults, they don't get it. They don't build good systems. But there's other kind of systems as well. There's ecological systems. Ecological systems, you know, that's the wildebeest on the Serengeti plain running around, and then there's the lion or the leopard or the jaguar. Wildebeest, jaguar, wildebeest, jaguar, wildebeest, jaguar, wildebeest, jaguar. Ah! And then the lion eats, and the jaguar eats, and then the hyenas eat, and then the vultures eat, and then the bugs come, and then the worms come, and then the body of the wildebeest decomposes, and the flowers come up with the rain, and then the whole cycle starts again. The circle of life. Lion King. Come on, I got little kids. Come on, watching Lion King. It's a circle of life. It's a system. It's a system. And it keeps everybody living on the Serengeti plain. But you know what? There's other kind of systems too. social systems, like in your school. There's this group of people that hang together, and this group of people that hang together, and this group of people that hang together, and this group of people that hang together. And all of these various people hang together. And certain people talk and certain people don't. And certain people can go into a certain place and certain people can't. And it's unwritten. The rules are unwritten. But there's rules nonetheless. And they are just as strong of systems as the system of the universe, the system of your body, or the system of the ecology. That's why when you walk into a group of people that you don't normally hang with, they're like, hey, dude, why are you in our group? You're not a part of us. Don't you understand the social system? They might not call it that. They just say, don't you understand? Get the heck out. My point that I'm trying to get at here, young person, is do you even see these systems around you? Are you even aware of the both tangible and intangible systems that are in play? And can you do something about it? Can you build a system? See, that's what Archimedes did. He wanted to move a rock that was 100 times his weight, let's say, 1,000-pound rock. He was an old, frail man. He wanted to move a 1,000-pound rock. So he built a system to move the rock. He didn't say it was impossible to move the rock. Impossible is an opinion. Listen to me. Impossible is an opinion. The guys with the biggest books, the guys with the most degrees, educational degrees, the guys who were the smartest on the planet at one time told everybody the world was flat. Think about that. The guys with the biggest books, the guys with the most letters after their name, the guys who were seemingly the most educated on the planet said the world was flat. And they were the same kind of people that said we'd never fly, same kind of people that said we'd never make it to the moon, the same kind of people that locked up Marconi. Who's Marconi? He's the guy that invented the radio. Locked him up because they said he was crazy. Those are the smartest people. Isn't that crazy? Impossible is an opinion. Systems. Look at this. There's also performance systems. Like, how do you manage your time? What's the fulcrum and lever to get the most out of your time? Or how do I market my new project that I want to do in my school or in my community? What's the marketing system? At the end of the day, it's about systems, because systems help you make the most of what you have. Great systems, you'll make the most of what you have. Poor systems, you might not make the most out of what, you might not make the least out of what you have. Most human endeavor is systems based. And whether that system was intentionally designed or the system just kind of organically took hold, the cliques and groups within your school. And the question is, are the systems you're using serving you well? The system that you used to organize your homework, get it done on time. The system you used to study for a test. The system you use to prepare for your next athletic endeavor or your next artistic endeavor. The system you're using to get into university or college, to prepare yourself to get into university or college. The other day, Saturday, I was speaking to all the top student leaders of the U of A. And you know, in talking with them, what I found over and over again, they have great systems. They have great systems for studying, great systems for organizing their time, great systems for setting goals and going after those goals. See, those are all examples of systems. Now, some of us intentionally build them. Some of us, well, we just kind of figure it out, or they organically grow up. But I'll tell you this. If you have great systems, you'll take whatever talent you have and make the most of it. Look what Capra said here. He said, system thinking involves shifting your attention from little parts to looking at the whole picture, from things to relationships, from structure to the process, from the hierarchy to the network, from the rationale, to the intuitive in here, from analysis, what happened, to creation. Let me figure out what I want to happen and build a system to get there. Most people don't have great systems. And if they do have systems, sometimes they get out of alignment or there's a part that's broken, then the system will fail. You know people that are feeling overwhelmed today. Is it because they can't handle what they have? Or is it because they just don't have a system to handle it? Give me a place to stand and I will move the world. And then secondly, it's about systems thinking. So when I was overwhelmed as I was coming up, leading those 750 people, 26 years of age, what dawned on me was I could choose the systems I use. And I could choose systems that serve me well. And I could reject systems that don't. And that was freeing for me. And I hope it's freeing for you. You choose the right systems that the times require. They act as a force multiplier, taking the little bit of talent, energy, and effort that you have, and we'll make the most of it. So over the next 3 weeks, what I have to do is I have to expose you to some systems. I have to show you some systems to help you become more of a systems thinker. And the funny thing is, and the adults that are watching would agree with me, the better the system, the broader the impact. You see, it doesn't impact you. When you develop a good system, it impacts a lot of people. When you have a good system for dealing with homelessness, when you have a good system for dealing with crime, when you have a good system to help kids graduate, when you have good systems in a community, great things happen. So I'm going to show you 4 systems, over the next 3 weeks. 1, I'm going to show you how to come up with a good idea. Can you come up with a good idea? If we all learned how to be more innovative and more creative. See, I don't think innovation and creativity is just born. I don't believe that. I just don't believe that. And I'll explain that more in a second. I believe you can learn how to be more creative. I'm going to show you a system for maximizing the utilization of your time. There's only 168 hours in a week. That's all there is. And it's the one thing that winners and losers have in common: time. It's how we choose to use it. Sit on our couch playing Grand Theft Auto 5 or the new Call of Duty, eating Smarties and chips, or maximizing the use of my time and making most of the 168 hours in the week that I have. A system for motivating, a system to motivate myself and a system to motivate those around me. And then finally, a system for personal communication. Do I know how to create and deliver a message? And whether that's a message to one person or a message to 1,000 people. Do I have a tool to deliver a message? Look, young leader, listen very closely. If you want to lead today, you better be able to communicate in the spoken word, not just in 120 characters. That's important. Knowing how to condense a message to 120 characters is important, but it's also important to be able to deliver a message in the spoken word. Systems. Those are the systems that I'm going to review with you over the next few weeks. Young person, you can move the world if you have good systems. Think about it, and we'll be back in touch very, very soon. Take care.